Hello, and welcome to this month's installment of From Central Office. As a reminder to everybody, this is our opportunity to share with you some of the things that we're working on in the central office that you may or may not be able to know about or may not hear about from some of our folks in the schools. So my name is Peter Noonan. I'm the superintendent of schools, and today I'm joined by three really awesome guests and excited to hear from each of them as we move along this morning. And the first is Sharon Hoffman, who is one of our school psychologists, Rachel LaBelle, another one of our school psychologists, and Katie Clinton, who's the director of our daycare. Before we have a chance to sort of spend a little time talking about what each of you do, I have a couple of updates. And the first is the big news for us in the last couple of months has been our budget. We recently have been working alongside in collaboration with the City Council, and last week the City Council adopted their budget, which included full funding of the school's request from the City Council. So first and foremost, we want to say thank you to the City Council for your incredible support of our schools, and also let the community know what that means for us here on the school side. Next week, our school board will take action on their final budget, and in that budget we anticipate we'll be able to include now, because of full funding from the City Council, a 3% cost of living adjustment for our teachers, an additional school psychologist to support our students that are most in need, an additional resource in special education, a new special education resource teacher, a resource teacher for our LEAP students, who are students whose home language is other than English, and who might be our ESOL students. Also include a math specialist at Henderson Middle School, which we're really excited about, and then also a half-time primary years program coordinator at both Thomas Jefferson Elementary and Mount Daniel Elementary. So we are very excited to be able to put some things in place with our school budget as a consequence of the extraordinary work of the City Council that will really continue to make our schools great, and we're excited about that. Something else we're working on right now in the City of Falls Church schools is around professional development. One of the things that we've learned I've learned over the last year of being here, unlike other school systems around the country, professional development sometimes can be a little bit scattered and maybe not have the focus necessary to really know what it is that we're working on and how it aligns to our work here in the school system that relates specifically to our triennial plan. Because I believe, and like others, I think in the system, that if we're doing things that aren't aligned to the triennial plan, then we're not being as efficient as we could be in our work. So there's a team of people who've come together that are looking at our current practices in professional development, when and how are we providing that professional development, and how is it connected to our triennial plan. And over the course of the next several months, we'll be talking about that alignment, how to create opportunities for our teachers and our staff to gain professional development so that it's aligned to our triennial plan, and also thinking about what are the best practices in professional development. Are we incorporating best adult learning strategies as defined by, for example, Learning Forward or other organizations? So we're excited about that. If you were to stop by central office over the course of the next couple of weeks, one of the things you'll see is some shuffling of some people. We are moving around internally here, and again, part of that is alignment, making sure that we have aligned practices with each other. We recently hired a new director for special education and for student services. Her name is Rebecca Sharp, and when she came in, one of the things we realized was that our special services department, for example, was separated from our instructional services department, and those two areas really need to be together. So some of the movement that we're making is to put special ed and general education together so that we can better serve all of our students. So if you come, you will see some boxes, and you will see some dollies and some people moving some boxes around. So, but we welcome you always to central office. Another thing we're working on that I'm really excited about is, and it's a combination project between the City of Falls Church Schools and George Mason University, and that is to develop a family resource center. In the City of Falls Church, we don't currently have a place where our parents can come to access resources, whether they're print resources, technological resources, or human resources for that matter, to support their children. So working alongside with the HTFS department at George Mason, which is the Human Development and Family Science Department, we have met with a course of students, a group of students that are taking a course, and they have presented to us 4 different options of how a Family Resource Center can be put together here in the City of Falls Church. The Ed Foundation has met with us and met with them as well and are interested in supporting it. And over the course of this summer, we will have 8 interns from George Mason University that will be working with us to stand up, if you will, a Family Resource Center somewhere here in the City of Falls Church. And we're very excited about it because we will have a place where our families can come and access people to meet their needs in the language that they need to be met in, and also be able to find some print and technological resources. Now, what that's going to look like exactly, we don't know, because we feel like we need to talk with our community to figure out what that would look like. And so that will be part of the work of those interns as well, as identifying what does that Family Resource Center look like. So we're really excited about that. Next is they work with our staff here in central office as we develop updates for the board around our big goals here in the City of Falls Church Schools. And we've met with the school board and we've talked with them about multi-tiered systems of support to meet the needs of all of our students. We've talked about how are we closing the gap between our students that are really high performing and some of our populations of students that are struggling, specifically how are our students that are struggling who are in poverty, how are our students, how can we support them, how can we support our special needs students, how can we support our students who are English language learners so that their performance in our schools can be equal to what all of our students are doing. So we've spent some time talking to them about that. We also were talking about how do we become the premier international baccalaureate school in the country and then the world, which we're excited about. And then lastly, how do our operations that we engage in, whether it's food services, transportation, technology, human resources and the like, become efficient so that we can really refine what we do and get better. So we have been speaking with the board about that and have put together some nice opportunities for them to hear about the work that we're doing. So those are a couple of brief updates to give you before we get a chance to hear from our guests today. And then I'll come back after we have our conversation and just share a couple more updates with you. But before we do that, I want to welcome again Sharon and Rachel and also Katie from CO. And I thought, Katie, we could start with you, if that's okay. So Katie Clinton is our daycare director. But tell us a little bit about what your role is here in the system and in CO.
Well, I oversee all 3 of our programs, MEH and TJ and Mount Daniel, and I really make sure that everything behind the scenes is running, that our staff, our staff's being hired, our vendors are being paid, our families are registered, and we're taking care of our special populations. Just making sure everything behind the scenes is running.
Cool. So out in front, how does daycare support our students and our families here in the City of Falls Church?
We have a lot of working families, and they need that support for their kids after school so that they're not home alone and that they have a safe place to be where they're cared for and they're having fun.
All right. And so what are your favorite parts of the work that you do, and what are some of the challenges?
My favorite part, I think, is seeing people grow, both staff and children. When the staff first come to us, they may not understand, the scope of school-age care, which is pretty big. And then they get into it, and you just see them shine as leaders. And I've seen that through many years. And then seeing kids, that when they thrive and they kind of start to really like what they're doing and get to be with us after school and just choose to enjoy themselves.
And you've been here with us for a while. 25
years.
So you've seen some of those daycare kids walk across the stage.
And I've seen them come back and work for us. So
that's awesome.
That's a joy too. That says a lot about the program when they come back.
Well, tell us a little something that maybe not everybody would know that you could share with the community that would help us build a relationship with you.
I sing in a church choir, and I also play piano for it too.
Right.
That's where I am every Thursday night.
Soprano, alto?
I'm an alto.
An alto.
Definitely an alto.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
So now let's turn our attention to our 2 school psychologists who will be gaining a partner because of the great work of our city council and school board around the budget. So Sharon and Rachel, thank you for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do here in our school system?
Well, we are school psychologists, and even though we're based out of central office, we work quite a bit in the schools directly with the students. I'm primarily at Thomas Jefferson and Mary Ellen Henderson schools.
And I'm at Jessie Thackeray Preschool, Mount Daniel, and George Mason High School.
That's great. So how do you support our families and our students? What is the work that you do?
Well, a large part of our role is helping to identify barriers to learning and help support the mental health needs or behavioral needs of students, something that might be getting in the way of their learning. So we work with teachers and families to help identify disabilities. We also provide counseling for our students who might need some more direct help. And we also do consultation with teachers as well of how they can support students in the classroom.
Great. Anything
Ditto.
to add to that? Yeah. So one of the things I'm not sure everybody understands is sort of the testing aspects of some of the work that you do too. Can you talk a little bit just briefly about some of how you support our students with testing?
Sure. So for some of our students, if something seems to really be getting in the way of their learning, we might request evaluations. And so we do individualized testing with the student, which does require a significant amount of time to meet with the students and do the testing and really identify their strengths and weaknesses. A big part of our role is not just identifying what is getting in the way, but what strengths the students have, so we can use that to support their learning as well.
And I love how you share some of those strengths with the teachers too. So it's a
Absolutely.
more holistic approach to taking care of a student. So it's not just that single teacher in the classroom. They're getting support elsewhere too to understand the whole child, right? That's great.
And I would add, part of our assessment is really getting at the why. So oftentimes we have questions about why a student is having either challenges with their learning or with behavior. And we can have something observable that we all see and agree, oh, this kid is having trouble with attention, for example. But why is that? So our assessment really helps to inform that. Is it something that it might be a deficit with attention, or is it that they don't have the prerequisite skills with the academics and so they're checking out? Yeah. Or is it an underlying emotional difficulty that's making it difficult for them to focus? So it really helps to refine our understanding of what's really going on for the child so that we can support them and inform our interventions.
That's awesome. So what do you like most about your jobs? And what do you find the most challenging?
I think the thing I like the most working in a small school system is getting to see the children grow and know the families starting from young age all the way up through graduation. Mm-hmm. And it's also the most challenging balancing different buildings.
Mm-hmm. Being in multiple places at the same time.
Right.
That just doesn't happen, right?
Right. I would agree with that on the challenging aspect and sort of needing to be experts in a lot of different areas so that you can really support kids and families and colleagues. And I agree that that's also sort of the exciting factor because psychology is always evolving, so we have to constantly be looking at research and informing our practice so that we can support the community.
That's great. Well, tell us something about yourselves that maybe not everybody knows.
I am a second-generation school psychologist.
Hey.
My father is a school psychologist in Southern Virginia.
No kidding. Still practicing?
Yes.
Excellent.
So those of you who know me already know this fun fact, but if you don't know me, you wouldn't know that I am a huge Redskins fan, die hard, hail to the Redskins. It's a big part of my family. It's a big tradition, and I'll give you a bonus fun fact about my family. My mom actually works in Falls Church City Public Schools too. She's over at Mount Daniel, so this is a family affair too.
That's great. And just to put a little timestamp on today's, it's her birthday, so happy birthday.
You got me bonus points.
There we go.
Thanks.
All right, so a couple more things just to share. Thank you all very much. Just to share with the community to let you know we are in the midst of hiring season. It's a big time of year for us here in the City of Falls Church, and for the first time this year we've begun a process called early hiring. So we've been able to identify some of those areas that have been hard to fill in the past, and we've provided authority to our Human Resources Department to work with our principals if they see a candidate to offer a contract on the spot rather than wait to put them through a process. Of course, we vet them fully before we execute that contract, but we are trying very hard to get people in early so that we can be ahead of the curve when hiring the best and brightest for our system. It's open enrollment time. Today's the last day of open enrollment, so our HR department's working really hard on that as well, and a really busy time for our accounts payable and accounts receivable folks, because we are in full swing at the end of the year of doing some purchasing for our schools. So I want to thank them for their incredible work here in central office as well. So just to preview next month's From CO, our intention is to share a little bit about what happens in central office during the summer, because there's a belief that when the kids go home, central office goes to sleep. And the truth is we are gearing up. I often say it's like planning a 9-month party in a 3-month window. So that's what we do here at central office in the summer, but we'll share some more next month about that. A couple of upcoming dates to share with the community. We will continue with our Sunday series, where we're sharing information about the high school project as well as the commercial project going on up at the high school site. And that Sunday series is going to be May 20th, August 5th, and September 23rd at 2 o'clock at the community center. So we look forward to seeing you there. So again, thank you very much for tuning in to this month's From CO. We had some great guests today, and we will see you next month. Have a great May.